With astrology-informed yoga classes, you can maximize positive planetary influences, minimize negative planetary influences, and live as your highest self. Visit discoverastroyoga.com and join the Astro Yoga experience to get ongoing guidance on how to change your yoga practice based on astrology.
Hello, welcome back. I'm Hannah. Libra energy, when it's balanced, has a true sense of harmony that can be really embodied. Libra's ruling planet is Venus, the goddess of relationships, love, beauty, and in today's yin practice, we should be focusing on the heart chakra. We shall also be incorporating a few poses that will help with our endocrine system, which is to do with our hormones and regulating our hormones. As always, for our yin practice, it's a good idea to grab some props, such as a bolster or perhaps some blocks, or any household items that might work for you, like pillows or blankets. We're going to start seated in a comfortable posture so that we can start with the chant of Yam for 8 rounds. Yam brings about peace, contentment, love, compassion for yourself and those around you. So get yourself into as comfortable posture as you can. You might like to rest the hands upon the thighs, or perhaps you'd like to bring hands to the belly or even a hand to heart and belly. Let's go ahead and take a full round of breath together. We'll be inhaling through the nose and we'll exhale it out through the mouth. And then on that second exhale, we'll start to chant. Don't worry if you're not in time with me. Don't worry if you're in tune with me. So just see if you can be as free as possible with your sound. 8 rounds. First breath is just going to be an exhalation. Then we start our chant. When you're ready, deep inhale through the nose. Let the breath away through the mouth. We begin in Yam. Last one. Let the sound settle around you. Let the sounds settle within you. Gently open your eyes, taking in your surroundings slowly. And from here, just removing any props. And we might come back to those in a moment. So the first pose we're going to work with is legs up the wall, or in my case, legs on the sofa. You could do what I'm doing, bring your legs on a sofa or perhaps a chair. Also welcome to do this against the wall. The aim is to have our legs higher than our heart and our brain. This is great for bringing yourself into the parasympathetic nervous system. Fantastic for that nervous system to reset and for our hormones to have a chance to reset too. So I'm just going to shuffle my mat towards the sofa here. And you can always grab something to place underneath the back of your head if you need to. If you're doing this against the wall, you would come in the same way. So bring your side body towards the wall or the sofa. Start to lean back and then swing your legs up. Shuffle until you feel like you're supported by the earth and by the wall or chair. And you can have the legs wide, even if they're against the wall or closer together. I'm choosing to just let my knees travel outwards. That way then I feel really supported by the sofa just because of the height of it. This is sort of where it's naturally catching. And then I'd like us to do something with the arms today. We're going to do a little bit of a self-hug. So we'll stay here for a good 2 minutes and we're going to bring the arms up towards the ceiling and then cross your right arm closer towards your chin. The left arm is going to be underneath the right arm. Crisscross the arms over and then just let yourself be draped with the arms. I'm quite conscious I've got my microphone here, so I'm trying not to squidge too much, but I'm not trying to hug myself. I'm actually just draping the arms. The arms might rest just gently where the chin is. And then just see if you can settle there. I'm going to remove my arms, otherwise you won't be able to hear me. But just having a little activation through the outer edge of those shoulders. And if this is uncomfortable for any reason, just bring the arms wide. You might choose to have a cactus plant instead, so like big stop signs. I'm actually coming out of the pose as I'd love to offer some words here by the wonderfully insightful Rumi. Let us fall in love again and scatter gold dust all over the world. Let us become a new spring and feel the breeze drift in the heavens' scent. Let us dress the earth in green, and like the sap of a young tree, let the grace from within sustain us. Let us carve gems out of our hearts and let them light up the path of love. The glance of love is crystal clear, and we are blessed by its light. For those of you who have the crisscross of the arms across your heart space, go ahead and just unwind. Spread the arms wide. Take another fulfilling breath. Feel a sense of openness and vastness through the chest. And then we'll crisscross with the other arm closer towards the chin. So you had the right arm closer to the chin, now have your left arm closer towards the chin. So same little wrap of those arms for the second half of this pose. I'm going to offer some peace, some space, some calm now. feels right, start to unbind those arms, spread them out wide once again like a letter T shape. Feel like you are taking up space. Feel connection to back, body, and earth. And then slowly begin to bring your knees down towards the right side. Pause on your side body. And then go ahead and bring the knees to center and then swap it over. Bring the knees towards the left side. And you don't have to be in a full twist, but do notice that your knees are probably being quite tucked up and in towards the body, which might feel a little restrictive. We're not here for super long. And you can either stay on this side and come up or roll once more to the other side to roll up, but slowly making your way up. And then from here, we'll head into the next pose. So coming onto hands and knees, we're heading towards puppy pose. Now, there are a couple of things that you might want to do here to give you a little more comfort. And firstly, that might be padding out your knees. So just bringing a little bit of extra cushioning underneath the knees could be really helpful. Some will prefer to have something under the forehead as a little bit of padding. You want to start in a tabletop position and bring the hips roughly on top of the knees. Now, you do not have to keep your hips directly on top of the knees. It could be that your hips come a little further forwards or a little further back ultimately. You'll figure out what feels nice and sort of a place that you can hold for a while. We want longevity in these poses, right? Starting to walk the hands forwards, we soften down towards the forearms and the elbows. And then see if you can start to lower the forehead as well towards the ground. So this is a variation of puppy pose. I'd like you just to check in with a couple of places in the body. First of all, check in with those knees. Do you need a little extra cushioning or padding? You're here for a little bit of time, remember it is yin. And then notice whether you're feeling any pinching in the front of the hips, the hip flexor area. Do you need to be a little further back with the hips or a little further forwards with the hips? And then start to take notice of the shoulders. And for some of us, bringing the elbows wider than the shoulders is going to give us a bit more freedom to stay. Don't be afraid to widen those shoulders. And then noticing through the back of the neck, whether you need a little extra support under the forehead. And there might be a little bit of sort of push down through the forearms just to help stabilize the body. Don't feel that everything has to be completely relaxed in every yin posture. There is a sense of having to prop ourselves in some of these poses. And then see if you can really soften through the belly. And also through the heart space, anahata, a heart chakra. Seeing if you can imagine a sense of warmth radiating out through heart. And you might even like to link the color green
to this area of the body which is linked to Anahata. A vibrant, soothing green, bringing us closer to nature. And green is for love in the chakra world. You do not have to add on anything else here. It might be that you need to back out of the pose a little more or fully. But if you feel like there is a little more room to explore, how does it feel to bring a hand behind the back of the head? Maybe both hands behind the back of the head. Do not feel that this is a must. See if we can leave the ego at the door. You might try it and decide pretty quickly, that's not for me today. Offering yourself the compassion that a dear good friend would be offering you in this moment. Last couple of breaths. See if you can settle. When you are ready to come out of the pose, you want to bring your hands back down in front of you, and then maybe you'd like to settle into a variation of child's pose. Some of you might prefer to lay flat onto your belly right away. Some of you might even need just a little curl through cat and cow. And then come to stillness again in your chosen pose. And those of you who are not lying flat on your belly, I invite you to come there for another 30 seconds or so. The next pose we're heading to is upright, so pushing yourself away from the earth. And we will be needing some props for this next one. It's known as a saddle in our yin practice, hero in our flow vinyasa. And I'm going to use quite a lot of props for this. Remember, yin is all about doing things slowly in a supportive way. We're never trying to fill into the deepest extension of our body. We're just getting to about 50%, 60% of our natural flexibility. So I'll show you how I'll set up with my props, and if you don't have these exact props, you'll have to try and find a good few things around the house that might help, and just a whole load of blankets, towels, cushions can get you there. I'm going to bring both my blocks in underneath the bolster. So one is a little lower, and then the other one where my head will go. This is where my middle back will go. And I'm gonna have my hips onto the earth. Now, it could be that some of you still need something underneath the buttocks, but I would probably try to keep the hips touching the ground rather than sitting on top of a bolster or a blanket for this. We will be leaning our way back, and we'll take a half hero with our saddle with our legs. So that's just one leg at a time. Now, you'll choose what you want to do with the other leg. I'm going to keep it straight out in front. At some point, if you feel like you've got more space, you might bend the leg, but just know that that's going to add on a lot more sensation. So we don't necessarily need to go there. I'm going to bring my left leg back behind me and tuck that foot behind. As I've got quite a hard floor here, I'm just going to bring an extra bit of cushioning underneath my ankle, just so that the bony bits are supported there. Now, don't feel that you have to have your knees perfectly together for this shape. It might be that you need that knee a lot more out to the side. Just do what you can here. I'm going to offer one more alternative if your knees just cannot get into this shape. I'll do that in just a moment. But otherwise, from here, I'm going to see if I can start to lean back. You might notice that you have more space when you lean back. So I want the buttocks on the ground. Now, I did a little lift and a little scoot of the sit bones under and forwards because I want the fleshy part of the buttocks to be trying to sort of tuck under and forwards so that we don't give an excessive amount of lumbar flexion. I want to see if I can lift, tuck those sit bones under and forwards, and then think about leaning back. And I'm going to see if I can bring myself into an open shape through the heart here. I'll be offering a change of the arms in a little while. So the first few moments you might still be wiggling around. I've given quite a few sort of cues there. You might not be in your posture yet. So if you're finding that this is just not working for you with your legs, another alternative is actually to take deer legs. This can give us a little more space, and it could be that you then, so deer legs I've just bent through both legs, or stag legs. And it could be that your left knee sits on top of that right ankle. So don't worry if that's needed, that's also totally fine. And that could be another option to lean back. Once you've found your place, see if you can find your edge and hold. See if you can avoid a sense of rigidity. Perhaps every 30 seconds or so, checking in and noticing if you need to change anything. And if you do, just really slowly and mindfully make adjustments. If you'd like to change the arms, maybe there's room to raise the hands above the head. You might try that and then decide, no, that's not for me today. Last couple of breaths on this side. think about slowly lifting our way up. We're going to take a pause between the two sides. So I'm lowering the hands, tucking the chin towards the chest. Slowly lift your way up. Lengthening both legs forwards. Maybe you need a little wiggle out of those feet, those toes. Trying to avoid knocking over the props, shimmying forwards a little bit. It might be worthwhile doing a little knee sway or windscreen wipe. But just for a moment, we'll find a little bit of stillness. Feet a good hip width apart, feet out in front, and just let yourself gently bow over those thighs. Let the head be heavy. And then we want to start setting ourselves up for that second side. So I'm going to shimmy a little bit over as it looks like I'm not able to move my blanket anymore, so that my foot is a little more on to my mat. And you might notice that one side feels a little or a lot different. So make any adjustments that you might need. Again, seeing if you can scoot the flesh of the buttocks under and forwards. I'm going to start with the arms low in time. I might think about raising those arms. Adding a little bit more of a heart lift a bit later on in the pose. The Libra energy, when it is balanced, has a sense of friendliness, welcoming energy. They're incredibly creative too. So just seeing if we can stay open-hearted, open-minded to our creative juices over the next few coming days, or perhaps just the next few hours after practice. Might be worthwhile checking in again to the physical body, asking gently, do I need to move in this moment? Maybe it's lift of the arms. Perhaps it's a different shape of the legs. And slowly becoming aware of your surroundings, of your physical body, as we start to invite a lift up and out of the pose. Moving thoughtfully, mindfully, slowly. You might need a little wiggle out of those toes, ankles. If you'd like to bow forwards for a little longer, stay there. Or it could be that we're thinking about settling into Shavasana. You'll be meeting me in deep relaxation in the next few moments. beginning to wiggle fingers and toes. Replenishing the breath with deeper inhales, deeper exhales. When you're ready, rolling to the side and lifting your way up to seated. Take a few more moments to pause, basking in this fullness of now. One hand to heart, one hand to belly. Sealing your practice with a moment to send a little love in, like a little well wish towards yourself. You might even gently whisper, "I love you." See how that lands in this moment. Thank you for joining today's peaceful, open-hearted yin. I bow to you.
If you enjoyed today's class, make sure you like and subscribe. If you're interested in learning how you can align your yoga practice based on the current planetary positions, visit discoverastroyoga.com and join the Astro Yoga experience.